Paying the rent. I know I'm a little late to the kick Colin Kaepernick backyard barbecue bash, but this one was in the chamber since Sunday. Color me unsurprised when the two biggest do-nothing factions of the African diaspora, the pork chop nationalists, or rather as Big J XXX would call them, the red ball, black ball, green ballers, and the black conservatives, had all the shit to talk about regarding 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick. Kaepernick has taken the position that race relations appears to have gotten better and police brutality lessened. So he feels that he should be able to stand to pledge allegiance for the upcoming NFL season, which was something that he had not been doing, as we all witnessed during the 2016 NFL season, out of protest of police brutality and racism and out of solidarity for Black Lives Matter. Kaepernick did opt out of his contract with the 49ers last Friday, and he will become a free agent. So the math definitely points to the possibility that Kaepernick is really looking to send signals to whatever prospective franchise who might take him on that he will quell the protest and not scare the cowardly multitudes of beer-swilling, wife-beating, lickers of fascist boots who just want their football and see obedient black bodies out there on the field keeping their fucking mouths shut. See, whether I disagree with Kaepernick about how things are right now, and I do disagree with him, I will say that I respect Kaepernick because he paid his rent, something that the conservatives and the pork chop nationalists would never know anything about. Paying the rent is a little expression that we use in our household, the wife and kids, referring to being a person in the world making a contribution in whatever way to oppose the way that we are living now. We live under normalized oppression. Take your pick of any of the isms and social political phobias often aimed at people of color, women, or poor people. Now, I have never put stock in celebrities when they take up causes or make political statements because they are often just one person using their platform to make them. However, I respect them for using their fame to champion the movements and political causes because they don't have to do it. Celebrities can help extend the message of social justice, but they cannot win fights. Only mass movements can do that. Colin is young and he's rich and he's famous. He didn't have to give a fuck about police targeting black people with state-sanctioned murders. But he did, and so he gets all my respect. I also don't judge him harshly for ending his protest at this point. When you take a stand and you do it alone, as was the case with most of his teammates and other athletes, suits, coaches, and the plantation owners of the franchises attacking him or simply stepping away, leaving him in the spotlight all by himself, he has no other choice but to drop sail and to take stock in how he should proceed with his making a living. This does happen to all of us, especially to activists who also happen to be in the working class. Now, I'm not drawing parallels to us versus someone who makes millions, but you get my point. But back to the conservatives and the pro-blacks who, since Monday, have been posting videos attacking Colin. Now, what are these clowns saying? The conservatives often chitter from the sidelines, throwing turds at anyone who does or is more than they'll ever be, by saying collectively, and you don't have to distinguish anything that these have to say, by the way, because you know it's all the same shit, but it's basically,
"Nah, you can't be out there talking to this massa and his polices while you got a job making all that money. You supposed to keep that big nappy mixed head down and your mouth shut.
Them peoples get good money to see you throw the ball. Them my peoples don't like no mouthy Negroes and using trouble, and I'm glad."
And of course, they are all reporting Colin's seeming about face as a certain cavalier attitude because the way they see it, people with political consciousness shouldn't be seen or heard. But what about the pro-blacks? Well, you think that they would be an ally to Colin and express nothing but sympathy, and you would think that they would have given him all the moral support for using his celebrity status by putting the issue of racism under the national spotlight. Nope. Now, to be fair, some of them have supported him and are now angry because they believe that he's selling out. I would disagree with them. I know sellouts when I see them and when I hear them. Hell, the new season hasn't come yet, and Colin has plenty of time to say the wrong things. Of course, the dumbest thing I've heard from the pro-black slash pork chop nationalist is that Colin is acting like an agent of white supremacy by making this about face and claiming that things might be getting better. Now, why would they bother, being the powers that be, to prop up a football player of color, to speak out against police brutality, not pledge allegiance, take knees out of protest, etc., and have him change his mind, and all to get other black people to say, yeah, Colin, racism has gone away. Now, he didn't say that racism has gone away. He just thinks it's getting better. Again, I don't agree. But the pork chop nationalists, like the conservatives, are really just throwing turds from the sideline at Colin to cover up for their own cowardice. It's the cowardice of standing up against people who have more power than you and speaking out regardless of what you might lose. We should all know this because most people who were the pork chop nationalists of the 60s got to live nice, old lives, while the Black Panthers, people who actually stood up against white supremacy in a major revolutionary way, have all wound up getting killed, thrown in prison, or dying as addicts. The majority of them, I shouldn't say all. You get my point here. The Afrocentrics, the pro-blacks, the red ball, green ball, blue ballers, or whatever the fuck, or what Big J calls them, they're just fucking cowards. And they hate when people show them up. Conservatives side up with the powers that be, and the pork chop nationalists often like to hide in the cracks and the darkness and breed like fucking rats and talk about fucking flying pyramids. They hate being upstaged by people who don't fit their image of black people. So fuck these people who don't want to pay the rent. They never have, they never will. And let's give Colin some props, who at least tried. All right? This is the Garage Autonomist.